It's an inverter fork.
So look at your bike and see what kind you have. You have regular fork or you have inverter fork. So everybody get done with that. With these names, you have outer tube, you have inner tube, and you have the axle right here. So this is inverter fork. So here are the components: two fork tubes, two inner slides, which is the inner tubes for inner slides, two travel clamp. That is the head, a steering spindle shaft, related fastener, the silos right here. So this one here, they call it inner tube, outer tube. You have the spring. Now we may have one spring, you may have two springs. Can somebody tell me where is the seal that we need to replace on this one?
The seal is up at the top and the bottom. Yes.
Right here?
Yes.
Is it 24?
No. 24, this one looks like what's called like dust boot or dust cover.
So that doesn't get replaced when you do the job for the forks?
Yeah, it does get replaced. Come with the kit. The dust cover come with the kit. But my question is, where is the seal, the main seal that always leaks? So I agree with you, number 24. It can has to be replaced with the when you do this overhaul.
Number 5?
But I'm talking about the seal. What do you think, guys?
How about the oil seal on the top of the plate?
Yeah, the oil seal.
Yeah, it's right below number 15, isn't it? That piece? And then the clip holds it down?
Yes.
Right here.
Uh,
Right here. Yeah, this is the one right here. So this one number. So this one here, this is number 24. That is the dust seal or dust cover. And then you have some kind of snap ring, and then you have the seal. I had a video for replacing the fork seals from a shop, but unfortunately it's in the shop. So how the telescopic fork works? Remember, guys, we have two stages right there: compression stroke and pre-pound stroke. Remember those. For the fork, when the fork compresses, you have compression stroke. When the fork expands, they call it pre-pound stroke. We have two stages, guys, in the fork operation. So compression stroke, it is the fork's movement into the slider when striking the bottom of the rope. Pre-pound stroke, the fork spring causes the slider to extend. So remember the spring inside. How many springs inside? Like I said, you may have one spring, you may have double springs. Depends on the suspension. By the way, guys, some springs they call it multi-stages. Let me show you this one here. So, look here. You have a spring like this one. So this one here, this is regular spring. You may have something like this one. This is one stage, and the other one is very close. All the round are very close. This is one, they call it multi-stage spring and one stage spring. So it depends on the design, you may have either one. And you may have two. So you have one like this and you have another one inside here. We're talking about the spring. Can you change the spring to make the fork more stiffer? Yes. Yes, you can. You can order those as a kit and change the springs or you have to. And again, it's gonna come with the seals and gonna come with the dust cover. So let's go back here to the. So remember, guys, two stages right here: compression stroke and preparing stroke. One the fork is gonna compress, and one the fork is gonna expand. This one here shows you what's happening inside. So at the end of the slider, this is the slider, guys. This is the outer tube. This one is the outer tube. Let's make it bigger here. So that is the outer tube. It doesn't matter if it's inverter style or you have regular style. This one is outer tube. This one is the slider. This one is the slider. So at the end of the slider, you have tiny holes right here. These tiny holes is gonna allow the oil to pass by. So when the thing moves inside the outer tube, it depends on how many the speed of that slider depends on how many holes you have in at the end of this piece up there. It says here resistance is produced as the oil flows through the piston. So if you have 3 holes or 4 holes, then we allow more opening for the oil to pass by. If you have only 1 hole or 2 holes, that means you have more restriction for the oil to pass by. Show you this one here on the board. This one here. So look at this one. Here is the outer tube. Here the outer tube. So in your bike, most likely you have the outer outer tube attached to the axle. Here the axle. That's the axle right there. And so that is the outer tube. How about inside tube? Give it a different color. So here is the inner tube, and the end of the inner tube you have the piston. Here is the piston right there. So this one is the inner tube right there. So they call it inner tube or they call it slider. So this is slide inside the tube. Now, in the piston they have holes right here. You have holes right here. So this one goes up and down. So what's gonna happen to the oil? So the oil is gonna flow in these tubes. So here you have the oil. When the slider goes in, the oil is gonna flow in these tiny holes. When the fork expands, now the oil is gonna go from this area and come down to this area. So the oil is gonna move from up to down, and this area gets so hot because the oil goes up and down all the time.
I have a question. So is that what provides the cushion, like that pressure of the oil, like being compressed? Is that what causes like you to have like cushion when you feel like a bump?
Yes, and like I said, you can change the number of holes on the slider. By changing the number, now we can have different feeling on the fork. You can change the slider and you can change the spring. That will affect the ride and the feeling on the fork. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Yes.
questions? So now we know the number of holes here in the slider will affect, will make either the right soft or the feeling soft or the right very stiff.
Sorry. So, so if you have an oil that's leaking, you're gonna feel all the bumps. Is it right? Like.
Yeah, you're right. If you have a fork that's leaking, now we have less oil. Now you're gonna have more soft suspension. Now we're gonna feel all the bumps.
Oh, okay. But why do you usually get like an oil that's leaking? Is it because the seals are bad already or old?
Because the seals are bad. You have to have the right amount of oil. If you have less amount of oil, that will affect the feeling on the fork.
And is there a certain time, like mileage, or is it just by feeling that you like go?
So if you look at the service manual, you will find you have to change the oil at certain time.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I have so many questions.
Go ahead.
Where do you fill up this oil?
So we'll talk about this one.
Oh, okay.